The Stephie Smalls Show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog just launched their new ladders game where you can win up to 500 times your end entry. Plus, when you use Smalls with 2 L's, you can get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We are brought to you by Edge Boost, the bank account built for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN and get a $25 matching deposit bonus. And finally, get all of SGPN's free picks and podcasts in one convenient app. Download the SGPN app in your app store today.
Are you ready?
Happy Cinco de Drinko. Have myself a margarita. Big show planned ahead. Episode 19 already on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. First up, Brad Thomas, our dear friend Brad Thomas, is going to join us, talk a little golf. I got some retired jersey. I have a bone to pick with retired jersey numbers. I'm kind of sick of hearing about it. And then after that, David at DynastyDorks is going to come on. We're going to talk a little fantasy football post-draft. But first, Brad Thomas going to a Celtics watch party after this. Betting analyst for NBC, co-host of What's the Spread and No BS Golf Show. Brad, how's it going?
Yo, I'm chilling, right? What a great day. Cinco de Mayo used to be like in college, I just go out and get nuts. Now I go to work and then get nuts after work. So can't complain. Thanks for having me on.
You said your friend is a Celtics fan, big Celtics fan. Do you have a favorite play for tonight?
For the Celtics game, yeah, actually taking Peyton Pritchard over 7.5 points. If it moved to 8.5, I would take it still, but around the minus 105 price. Just a great price. Like, he's kind of getting priced as if Drew Holiday wasn't playing, but if Drew Holiday plays, he gets those tertiary minutes, a bigger role when he's playing with the bench guys.
We know I'm not really a fan of the Knicks, so I would love to see them lose. Obviously, before we talk some golf, a kind of a fun tournament. I'm excited to talk about this course with you a little bit, but have you seen all the discourse about retired jersey numbers?
Yes.
I just got to get it off my chest. I just am so tired. What's going on? Why are people so upset about retired jersey numbers?
You know what's weird? I'm like on both sides of the fence, right? Like I could care less about retired jerseys, maybe because I don't have anything retired anyway. But then I also am like, after you get like rejected the first time, like move on. Just pick literally any other number. Like you don't have to go after the retired jerseys. But I feel like it's gonna get to a point where there's gonna be so many retired jerseys it's hard to pick from. I don't remember which player it was, but they were with the equipment staff, and he's like, "Is this number available? No. Is this number available? No. Is this number available?" It's like, come on.
Yeah, at some point it's gone too far, and also I think we could probably unretire some of the I don't even know how to say it nicely. Like some of the numbers that got retired very, very early on to when the NFL first started. I think that we can remember them in different ways. I know Malik Neighbors got his number unretired by the Flaherty family. So I don't know if maybe that's contributing to Abdul feeling like he can also get one retired. I think he's just as excited to be a Giant and he wants to be part of history and he's a young kid. And no one's saying anything about Cam Ward getting his unretired too. It's so funny because
I almost cried with the Cam Ward thing. Like when he brought the jersey out.
I know.
I was like, oh my God, that's so precious.
It was very cute. It was very sweet. But also, like, I think in general, just do not give a fuck. I don't even pay enough attention to who is wearing what jersey. I also would rather us retire jersey numbers. I know I tweeted this out of like guys that give me PTSD. Like Kenny Galladay's number on the Giants, retire it. I don't
You hate him. You know, I'm a huge jersey
causes
guy.
me trauma.
I'm like a huge jersey guy. I never like once have been like, oh man, I got to get this guy's jersey because it's retired now.
Yeah.
Like it's such a, I don't know. It feels like a stupid concept, especially because people are getting their jerseys numbered so easily, right? Like Shedeur Sanders just got his jersey number retired. Like
there's only so many fucking numbers. Like at some point, what are we doing?
Like what the hell?
At some point, I don't know. I think we probably are too quick to retire some numbers, obviously. Yes. I think maybe we have to, like, I see David saying this too, argument for greatest player ever. Like, that's what I mean. Like, LT 100% should have a number retired. Not even a question. But you're retiring maybe a little bit too many numbers. I think we are, but whatever. It's fine. I think everyone needs to just drop it. It has been, everyone is consuming way too much retired jersey number content right now. We need to focus and channel our energy somewhere else, like drinking margaritas or betting on golf.
Cinco de Mayo, betting on golf. Like the
golf.
jersey number thing is just, it's insane, but we're in this like time now where people leech onto something and they make everything a thing.
Yeah, it's, oh my God, it's unbearable. I can't, it's too much.
I can't quite hear you. I'm sorry.
What's going on?
Oh, I can hear you now.
Guys, can you hear me now? Can we hear me now? You can hear me now? We're good. Okay. I played with I literally just hit the cord and that new mic. This is why we were using the lapel ones. Anyways, we have a signature event, no cut, signature event. I'm calling it the T Championship. It's helpful at the Philadelphia Cricket Club. Scotty will not be there after his big old win. People are obviously knocking it down. I think he wanted to get a win on the board there. Yet to win. What are you looking for in a golfer this week? And how do you feel about the signature event before the major?
I don't mind the signature event before the major. I absolutely hate it after the major, like what literally just happened. But I'm actually pretty excited about this. I don't know if you know, but I've been a Golf Channel employee, NBC employee for like 10 or 11 years. Well, we used to have meetings. So most of the meeting rooms at the old Golf Channel building were named after golf architects. And so like you kind of start getting favorite meeting rooms, and Tillinghast was one of my favorite meeting rooms. And on the walls, it talks about that architect, talks about their courses. So I started to grow and know Tillinghast a lot more because we'd meet there. And when you're bored in meetings, sorry, bosses, you read the walls and you look at the art, and you find the fun facts. So I'm super stoked for this course. What is it? The oldest private course. It's like insane, and it's super beautiful. I'm gonna be honest, this might be like the first tournament where I'm like, I don't have this set rules of guys that I'm looking for, because I feel like it's gonna be like that the back with the major when Wyndham Clark won, where we thought you couldn't overpower the course, and then you could overpower the course, where people are doing a lot of guessing. I just want dudes who are playing good golf. I might put a little extra boost on approach players, but not really. Like when I made my custom model, I did approach play because every golf tournament you need to be good on approach. I added a little bit more on driving accuracy than normal. I have a buddy that lives up there, said it's been raining nonstop, and it feels like a Thursday tradition. We've had preferred lies, so I want to get that little added boost. And then this is the most bunkers on tour at this course. I think it's like 118 bunkers, 2.38 acres. So I want guys who are good out of the sand. But like outside of that, I literally at one point pulled up like who are the guys who've just been gaining the most strokes over like the last 24 events. And I just don't think that signature events or an event at a course like this, we're gonna have guys who haven't been playing well win the event. So like I'm eliminating like half the field. If you haven't been playing good golf, if you win this, fine. But I don't think that's gonna happen. It hasn't happened in signature events in like the last 2 years.
No, and it's not really where you're going to see me put my money. And I think I found that, current form just has aided to a lot of the success that I've had as far as betting golf. It's just, I want to bet on guys that are playing well, and I can count on them playing well. If they have an off week, fine. I picked the wrong guy. He had his off week. That's okay. But I want to bet on guys that are playing well. You mentioned the bunkers. Also, you're seeing a lot of people talk about this, the longer carry distance to get you past, those very narrow parts of the fairway. And that can help. Can they, get past that where it starts to widen for these guys and give them some better shots after that, scrambling, kind of like the regular, like approach as well. I probably had, and then just distance off the tee. Like I was saying, if you can get yourself past those kind of narrow parts of the fairway. Did you have a first click? Where did you go with betting wise, or where are you at as far as your card looks?
So I think the first name on my card was going to be Patrick Cantlay. Like the dude literally is phenomenal putting on bent grass. At RBC Heritage, he was T13 and he lost 2.3 strokes on the putting greens. But I actually haven't bet him yet. I want to see what the market does. Right now, he's 20 to 1-ish, 22 to 1. I think there's a number that we have to get down on because the market's going to obliterate this number, and it's Jordan Spieth at 28 to 1. Jordan Spieth is funny because the standard for him so high. right? Like, I don't think outside of Scotty Scheffler, Justin Thomas, Rory McIlroy, no one else has the same standard as Jordan Spieth. If I told you Jordan Spieth finished inside the top 20 in his last 4 events, you would have probably said impossible. He's playing like crap.
Yeah.
But no, he finished 4th at the CJ Cup, finished T18 at RBC Heritage, finished T14 at the Masters, T12 at Valero. While a couple of those he was never in contention, like the bar is so high. Yes, he missed the cut at Genesis, but right before that he was T4. I just feel like if Jordan Spieth's playing good golf and he kind of got past that ickiness, the ickiness of coming back from a major wrist surgery and having those lofty expectations, I think you do well. When I was listening to the broadcast, I want to add one more thing about Jordan Spieth. When I was listening to the broadcast, I think it was round 1 of the CJ Cup. One of the commentators brought something up that I thought was pretty compelling. You know, Justin Thomas had been the golfer with the monkey on his back, right? When is Justin Thomas going to win again? He's been in contention, but he can't get there. And the monkey was released off his back. But at the same time, Jordan Spieth had that same monkey on his back. With Justin Thomas winning at RBC Heritage, does that take the monkey off of Jordan's back? Does it give him like a, hey, there's a light at the end of the tunnel? I could certainly get there because if Justin can, I can. They're boys. It makes total sense. You know, that small stuff, it might not sound big in the grand scheme of betting and golf, but golf is such a mental game. Sometimes all it takes is just one thing. Like Victor Hovland, when he won this year, the tournament before that, he had a horrible round and then went out there and it felt like his swing clicked. He still didn't even make the cut, but he said he felt like his swing clicked and it was that one thing. So maybe Jordan Spieth kind of brings that with him as well, where, man, I just gained like 11 strokes on the field and finished 4th at PGA Cup, and he didn't even play well in the first round.
And I'm glad you brought him up because obviously I am a Spieth fangirl, and I think now it's getting to the point where it's funny because there's always been, you know, a lot of talking shit about Spieth. Oh, he lost it. And yeah, but he's trending now. He's starting to trend in a direction that it's hard to deny what he's doing. Like, I would be very surprised if he doesn't win this season. I truly believe that that win is coming for him. I think it's been about him kind of struggling to put his game together, but we're seeing that happen. You're seeing his approach. I mean, his last 6 starts, he's gained last 5, gained 6 strokes on approach twice. Like he's doing the things that he wasn't doing. His putting looks good. He's 6th in strokes gained putting in this field. Like he's doing the things that everyone wants to knock him for. He's had 2 really strong weeks. I know last week it's easy to knock because of the tournament that it was, but I think, you know, looking at Spieth, do I think Spieth is going to win this week? Again, wouldn't be shocked if he did. Like, do we bet him outright? Is this where we bet him top 10? Because like even the top 10 number plus 250, or do you just go for the full outright?
I think I'm just playing him outright top 20 and top 10 because Jordan Spieth is now especially in a 75-man field is now a golfer where you expect him to be in some kind of contention. And even when he's not playing well, he's going to have like one round where it's been fantastic. Like let's take Valspar, for example. 3rd round was his best round. He gained 4 strokes to the field. And in a tournament that he was playing absolutely horrible, round 4 couldn't hit the driver to save his life. Now, if round 4 is not as bad, right? Like if he doesn't lose 2.9 strokes off the tee, he's probably finishing inside top 15, maybe top 10. You're getting paid a little bit more. But even using Valspar as an example, like that course doesn't set up well for him. And I say it with a grain of salt, right? He's had success at Valspar, but I mean, it just doesn't set up well for him when he's not hitting his driver well. I think here it's not going to be super penal if you don't hit the fairway. That's kind of like Jordan's bugaboo, right? He can hit every shot on the course. His putter's starting to trend a little bit, right? Like he gained 5 strokes at TPC San Antonio, gained another 5 strokes at the Masters. Didn't putt particularly well the last 2 weeks, but when you're dialing it up on approach, your putt numbers aren't going to be as high because you're putting from like 5-10 feet, you know? But I just feel like he's trending in the right direction. I will play him all those ways because I would rather be on a guy like Jordan Spieth to finish top 20. And I say this from experience than Steven Jaeger at a course that sits him well, finish. And he goes out there and plays the last 3 rounds, 1 over par. Yeah,
no, I'm with you. And I think too, something that stood out to me with Spieth too, is he ranks 10th in bogey avoidance. And I think here you also talk about those bunkers, right? Like, everyone wants to make fun of Spieth because you turn on the TV, Spieth is behind a TV. Behind a tree. He's in a bunker. Like, that's where you see Spieth because you're like, what is bro doing? Why is he always getting himself into these spots? But what they don't talk about is that he's able to get out of these spots. He can be creative. He knows how to work it. So Like, I love speed. I think speed, like, you can still get, I saw a plus 100 before I jumped on. For him to be top 20, I think that's an easy smash this week. I think he's trending. And also, how cool would it be to see a strong finish heading into PGA?
Yes.
Come
Right?
on.
Like, you
We
need that
need it.
confidence. I think it's gonna get to a point too with like Jordan Spieth where, the dude is battling to play in these events. He can't just keep playing on sponsorship exemptions, and I think he knows that.
No.
Gets that win, get into the majors, well, you get in the majors, but get into the signature events is what I meant to say, and not have to rely on
Yeah.
sponsorship exemptions. I think he has 4 now. Like, that's the most out of anybody in the PGA Tour with sponsorship exemptions this year.
It's a lot. It is a
Yeah.
lot. Talking about a guy, I know you and I we've talked to him. He's both of our guys a little bit here. Xander. His approach game is lovely right now. What is he, like 16 to 1? I think I saw him at earlier today. I told myself I wouldn't bet him beyond the top 10. I was going to stick there until he got over it and won. Something about his driving makes me a little nervous.
There's something about Xander that's really interesting. I wanted to see where he kind of fell on my model. I think it's actually not good. Basically,
He
how I
didn't
built
grade
this
out well
out.
for me this week.
Yeah, his drivers hasn't been good, and his putting hasn't been good. And it's 2 things that are very touch based or very repetition based. You need repetition to hit your driver successfully in the fairway all the time. You need repetition to get that touch around the greens. This was a guy who literally just had a baby a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
When I started playing golf again, when my baby, I didn't have to watch her all the time. I couldn't make putts and I couldn't hit fairways. It's just because you need that repetition. And Xander has said that. Even talked about it when he was, testing out new driver heads. He's like, I didn't have time to demo him while I was hurt, and that's kind of why. But I mean, if the guy, listen, 11 strokes on approach at Valspar, then followed up with 4. I think he's a top 20, top 10 guy. I don't know if I'm quite ready to get there. If you can't putt and you're not hitting the drives, like, you got to do one of the 2, right? Like, drive for show, putt for dough. He's doing neither. I don't know if I can get there this week at 16, but I wouldn't be surprised if he wins because this could play like a easy US Open.
Yeah, I know. That's why I know it's so tempting, but with Xander, I said a couple shows back too. I think I'm just going to do the top 10 every week, and I'm going to wait until he gets over the hump until I feel comfortable. I know I'm not going to get the value at that point. I'd rather be in before it happens, but for me, it just feels safer this way.
Yeah. Well, let me just give you this. So, if you want to use Brookline as one of the country club, if you want to use them as one of the comp courses, struggle to find comp courses that really fit here. Xander played really well rounds 1 through 3 at the 2022 US Open, then put up a stinker in round 4 and still finished T14.
All right, before I ask you about a couple more, I want to talk about Edge Boost. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account built for bettors, ensuring all gambling transactions are approved. No usage fees, no minimums, earn cashback rewards, 100% approval for all betting deposits. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN. Deposit $25 and Edge Boost will match the deposit. That's it. edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. We're brought to you by mybookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the NBA playoffs, plus props for every game. For the true DGens, the MyBookie money bag, where you get a random future bet. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations, easy deposit, and lightning fast payouts. I have a bet that I like for tomorrow night. And again, I'm kind of on a heater with these. Warriors moneyline plus 235. Head to mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN or Smalls. Actually, either one. Either one benefits the show for 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. Okay, back to some golf here. I don't know why this guy is standing out to me. There's 2 guys I want to talk to you about. You you mentioned the Tillinghast design. You know who's kind of a guy that does very, very well at these type of courses is Jason Day. I have bet nothing with him, but he is playing good golf and he does freaking like these courses. So what do I do?
I don't think I am a Jason Day believer, and I don't think I've been for quite some time. What's funny about Jason Day is when he had his win, what was that? 2 seasons ago. He was first in my model, and I just looked right past him. I just don't know. I don't know if I have a good feel on his game, and I think it's because Jason Day has done a lot to his swing to kind of make it easier on his body. He's 37 years old. He used to have a really strong, powerful swing. Then you tinker with your swing, and when you start tinkering with your swing, this is what happens. And I'm just going to read off some of his past results.
Yeah.
Amex, T3, then a T32, T13, T50. You have those just moments, and I think his game's just not a place where I'm personally going to get down with it. But I can never be mad at someone betting Jason Day because he's going to be a great course fit, like at 90% of the places that he plays.
Yeah.
I really want to see how the greens are going to play out here because they like if it's not raining, they should be firm and fast. But if it's wet, maybe we get a slight advantage. Taking Jason Day putting on wet greens, a little bit more used to that than a lot of other golfers in the field. It's such a stupid statement to say, but probably true.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm probably a pass on him.
Okay, who else are you looking at? God, Victor Hovland keeps standing out to me, but I don't think I can get there with him. His approach is good. He's being consistent tee to green now, gaining strokes putting, but
yeah,
I just love betting Hovland, and I can't, for some reason, I can't get there this year.
I got there when he was 80-1, and now he's 28 to 1, and I don't know if I'm ready to be back on Victor Hovland. I felt like that was the luckiest bet that I ever had. He went out there and played phenomenal. A guy who I'm slightly interested at this price, and I'm not going to spit off any statistics because this just for me is just a feel play, and it's going to be Wyndham Clark.
Yeah,
51,
people like him.
1. Yeah, Wyndham Clark, he needs to be at a course that's not going to be penal. That's not going to punish you for missing fairways. That's going to reward you for having a little bit of extra length. Here at this course, maybe it could play a little like LA Country Club. And we saw what he did at LA Country. Oh my God, I'm looking at pictures of LA Country Club. A couple of the holes look very similar.
I
They
know.
don't really have
I was
ballers on the
looking at
greens,
that earlier.
a lot of fairway bunkers, has more trees, but why not Wyndham Clark at this big price if it plays like an easy US Open? And I didn't even do that intentional, right? I wasn't like, oh, let me find guys who did well at US Opens, but I just thought about the course makeup and how Wyndham Clark would be rewarded as opposed to penalized, right? I saw him at Bay Hill. I was literally following his group around. Dude was just hitting out of the rough, and still played pretty good golf. Now I'll give him a place where the rough's not going to be penal. You're not going to be punished for distance to edge a fairway. He could contend.
Yeah. He's just going to be one of my brat fades of the week because it feels like he's very popular this week, but I think I can get there in a top 20, a top 10. I'm probably close to that. Clark is also just not someone that I bet. He's the same, the way you talked about Jason Day, Clark will pop in my model and I just look past him. He's just not the guy that I go and bet. You know who I don't really typically bet, but I like what he's been doing, and he's very quietly, last two starts, T5, T13, great putter, accurate off the tee. Sam Burns is rounding into some interesting form. Am I going to get there outright? I don't know, but I did bet it top 20 at plus 175, and I did bet him to win the U.S. Open as well.
So U.S. Open would be great for Sam Burns to win. You know what's funny about Mr. Burnsy is at this course, there's no I haven't found danger outside of getting yourself in jail in one of these bunkers.
Yeah.
With Sam Burns, when he finds danger, it's at Valspar, hitting into the water. The players hitting into the water. Not a ton of water. I think there's only one water hazard with 6 in play. And I don't think it's that prevalent. You have to literally find it. Burns' game's getting into that point where it's pretty nice. I actually don't even know his price to win, but I imagine it's going to be better than a lot of these stinkers around
50,
him, right?
I think it's 50 to 1. 50 to 1. 60 to 1. Yeah.
Yeah, about the same price as Taylor Pendrith, JJ Spawn, Denny McCarthy. I think Burns went through this really bad, tough time where, they had the baby and then to kind of get into the swing of things of being a new father. That happens a lot. It's this initial boost of you have the baby, then you play really good golf those first couple weeks. Then real fatherhood comes in and you're like, wow, I'm starting to suck. I got to get back into the swing of things.
It's actually 80 to 1.
My God.
I got to do it. I'm doing it. I have to. I'll do it each way. It's going to be an each way though. It's going to be an each way.
You know what the best thing about an 80 to 1 ticket is? You put a couple bucks on an 80 to 1, they win, you're freaking partying. You put a couple bucks and they lose, you don't even mind it. Now you take a guy like Tommy Fleetwood, while his price is not terrible this week, he's 28 to 1. How many times are we going to just keep hammering Tommy Fleetwood till he wins? We're going to run out of money. Our value is going to be zapped away. We're going to bet him 40 times and he's going to win when he's 16 to 1. Then we're like not even breaking even. Where Burns, you chase the Burns victory because he's going to win within the next 2 years at 80 to 1. You're not betting him 80. You're not betting him 80 times in a season. It's going to be good value eventually.
You know who people bet every single week? And I did bet him top 20 this week, and he's going to be a very popular bet, I'm sure, just based off the course and knowing what he does and looking at the handful of top 10s he's had this season. He's been competitive in a lot of big events, is Corey Connors. And again, it's not a guy that I love. He can be as high as hell in my model. He could be second in my model, and I promise you I'm not betting him to win. His putting makes me sick. It makes me sick, Brad. I can't bet him, but I can get their top 20. I'm sure he's going to be popular. I do think this is the type of course and event and the form that he's in. Like, it makes sense. I get it. I understand everyone. They're validated in it, but I can't do it.
I think John Hasselbeck's going to be on Corey Connors. I love reading his article about the course breakdowns.
Yeah.
Corey Connors not a guy for me. I don't think I've bet Corey Connors in like maybe a year.
Yeah, no.
His price sometimes pretty good, sometimes gets ran over, but his number gets crushed. Corey Connors is one of those guys where if one or two handicapper gives him out, the whole world adds him to his card, and he's absolutely dreadful. Yeah. What event was that? Was that Valero?
I think so. It was out of control. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It was nuts. I was like, no way in heck am I going to bet him at like 16 to 1. He finished top 20, so like you could at least be excited about that if you put money on him, but I'm just not there on him. There's something about him finishing tournaments or starting tournaments. He's really good in the middle of them. I just can't get there on him.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyone else you're looking at this week? I think I took a look at Akshay. My problem with Akshay, like, I like Akshay because I think wedges. I think that, like, he's such a spike golfer, though, and I'm hating that about Akshay because I want to back him, but it's hard to because he's very disappointing. He's so erratic. But then he will end up like spiking on weeks that I don't think that he's going to be very good. His putting is improving, but I don't know that he's doing enough. Like, the last thing that he's done that's worth noting is the T3 at the Players, but that's kind of what I mean. Like, he can't spike in these bigger, like, so he's difficult to bet on because I can't get him right. He's such a spike, like it's spike weeks.
You're fine not betting Akshay, I think, this tournament.
Yeah.
If he's trending in the wrong direction with his irons. Akshay, and Akshay is a guy who you play at a course that's driver wedge. It's not really that course. It's not crazy long, but there are some long holes on it. A guy, I don't know if I'm going to get there all the way, but this has been my guy. This has been my guy this season, and I've never been a Russell Henley guy, but he's still 30 to 1 or higher. He was horrible off the tee at RBC and still finished T8. Won Arnold Palmer, T6 at the Cognizant. The guy who always plays well at the Masters missed the cut. We can excuse that. I don't know if you paid attention to his round on Friday, but it was a heroic comeback to kind of get close to the number and then kind of gave it away on the last couple of holes. Why not Russell Henley? When I always bet a guy, and I'll probably give you a long shot for the next guy. Sorry, I'm just cherry picking the middle of the board here.
No, you're good.
But when I bet a guy, I just want to see like who's he around. He's around some good company this week, but I still think like he's a guy who should be closer to the Patrick Cantlay price. Especially like if we're just talking about current form. Patrick Cantlay has 0 win equity in the past 2 years, right? Like you got to go to Russell Henley, the guy who's been contending.
Yeah, I think, and I would rather, like, Henley is someone, like, I would rather bet him than Corey Connors, than Fleetwood, like, than a lot of these guys that people donate week after week after week. Like, Henley is proving to be playing, like, very good golf, and he's right there on the brink. So he's someone, like, I don't knock him for that. Maybe I'll add him to my top 20s because he is playing fantastic golf. You can't say anything else. Is there give me a long shot before I start wrapping up, let you get out of here to go.
Yeah. And listen, I swear to you, I'm not doing this correlation between this course and Brookline. I promise it's not that. But so crazy things happen when guys split from their caddies and get a new caddy. Matt Fitzpatrick's 100 to 1. He's 100 to 1, just split from his caddy. Yes, he went miscut, T40, T38, but could be the change in caddy spike. Happened to what? Mr. Justin Thomas. Happened for him. Justin Thomas again when he won, when he had bones on the bag that flipped over. Maybe this is the right mojo. Even Max Homa, right, at the Masters, divorces his caddy, goes out there and plays fantastic.
Yeah.
Maybe he gets the bump. It's 100 to 1. It's not like I'm asking you to bet on a guy that's 20 to 1.
Yeah. He also he rated out very well for me. Don't tell anyone. Like, I am going to have to bet something on him. I mean, maybe he might be worth the each way at that price, to be completely honest.
He is.
Right?
I have him positioned 40 out of 75, which is not like super high, but if you talk about a little bit of an overlay on price, 100 to 1 kind of projects him. I think that projects him in the bottom like 65, maybe 68-ish number. So you're getting a little bit of like value, and that's all you're trying to do is find value.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Also, doesn't Colin Morikawa have a new? I'm not a Colin Morikawa girl, but it's a little interesting.
The Morikawa is another guy who's going to rate out, but I'm the kind of guy, like, if I'm just going to bet 14 to 1 on Morikawa, I'm just going to take Rory to win it and just solo it.
100%. I'm with you 100% on that. I'm going to let you get to the Celtics party. Tell me one golfer that you would want to celebrate Cinco de Mayo with.
One golfer. Oh, this is easy, and it's Shane Lowry. Every time I work an event and I see Shane, he's always so nice to me, and he seems like such a freaking sick dude to party with.
Love it. I absolutely love it. Tell everyone where they can find you. I'll let you get out of here. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, you can find me on X at Mr. Brad Thomas. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. It's the No BS Golf Show.
Awesome show. I appreciate you, Brad. Let you get out of here. Go enjoy your margaritas. We'll talk to you soon.
Cheers. Take care.
Time for my bonus Underdog pick'em. Underdog just launched their new game, Ladders. Win up to 500x watching your favorite players climb the ladder. Here's a pick'em entry I like, and it's not for golf. It's actually for basketball. Bridges higher 1.5 threes, and Porzingis higher 6.5 rebounds for 3x your monies. So sign up with Smalls, 2 L's, to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code Smalls. Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. Dominate the NBA playoffs and MLB prop market with Rhythm, as well as golf. You know I love using golf on Rhythm. Building your own model is simple and easy. Rhythm knows you'll love it. That's why they include a 7-day free trial. Here are 2 plays that Rhythm likes that I also like for the golf tournament this weekend. Shane Lowry, top 20 plus 125. They have him projected to finish 5th, which seems a little dramatic, but I like it at the top 20 plus 125. And Michael Kim, top 20 plus 190, projected to finish 11 by Rhythm. Rhythm has some amazing deals going on now. 25% off monthly subscription with promo code SGPN25 and 50% off annual subscription with promo code SGPN50. That's RITHMM, promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. And at last, it's been a while since I talked some fantasy football, some Dynasty on the show. David at DynastyDorks, part of the SGPN family, is joining me. How's it going?
Hey, Steph, how are you?
I'm good. You are a Giants fan, and I don't do this on purpose, but there is a lot of Giants fans just accidentally in my bubble. So I have a lot of Giants fans on.
Yeah, we got to go up and down with the emotions of the draft, and I was the one guy that was kind of okay with the Jackson Dart pick.
Yes.
I like that we didn't trade that much. When you look at what the Falcons traded versus the Giants, we got the quarterback, and we traded a lot less than they did. Basically, just 2/3 to move up, 8 spots or 9 spots from the second round, get that extra 5th-year option. So I'm good with it, and just the Daniel Jones era. We were spoiled. Eli was not necessarily flashy, but we were spoiled with the Iron Man and all that stuff. And it's been a rough long time.
It has been rough. I have come around to it. I think that in the moment, I just had in my head, I do not want to trade up for a quarterback. Like, I just felt very strongly about that, unless it was, sneaking back into the first round. But when you sit down and you look at it, he gets to sit behind 2 vets, didn't give up a lot. There's a lot to like there. You like Dart, though, coming into this. I admittedly said multiple times, I was too quick to dismiss him. I watched a little and was like, not a fan. Obviously went back, did a little bit more research, and he has grown on me. And I like the intangibles that he has. I like what he offers. I like that Dable gets his opportunity to get his guy. Like that, we've been waiting for that. He's supposed to be the QB guy. Here you go. You get the QB that you wanted. So you liked Dart. When do you see him starting?
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. We're Giants fans, but we got to be honest that we're probably not a playoff team. And so you look halfway through the season and you kind of look for where the bye week is and kind of figure out where it is. Of course, Dable and Shane are going to do what they can to try to save their jobs. But I think everybody in town knows that they're short-lived. And so look for around that time where they have the bye week, or maybe a time, maybe coming after a Europe game like the Daniel Jones situation. And you see, you don't want to throw them out there too early, but this was a very fit-friendly draft. And so some of the players, it might not be like, everyone's looking at players and ranking them. They don't have a team. The Giants have a team and a division. And you look at, and the Giants are in the NFC East. You're going to need a bigger guy with a bigger arm and bigger tools, someone that can run the ball. And that's where I think he was a better fit than some of the other quarterbacks in this draft. And you look at, they wanted Drake May, who is a similar build. He's not Drake May, doesn't have the same arm, the same power on the arm. Doesn't have a weak arm. I mean, he threw 58 miles an hour in the velocity test. He's good deep ball thrower, good big time throw rate. I actually had a short out there that said he was going to get drafted over Sanders like a month before the draft. YouTube, they love to, when you go
I'm
against,
sure they love that one.
You go against the norm and they think you're stupid, but then you go against the norm and you're too chalky. So I just thought it was going to happen, and it did. It did,
and I'm excited to see what he does. I think that benefit, like, too quickly does the league force some rookie QBs to have to start. And, Russ isn't my favorite, character in the world, but Russ has a lot to offer. I think so does Jameis. Like, they bring a lot as vets. To have both of them in the room with him, let him sit. Our schedule is brutal. No reason to force him out there. I don't feel super great about the O-line still, but I think it was a good pick. I will not jump off the Giants, so we're going to talk some of these fallers, risers, post-draft. Let's talk Tyrone Tracy, because this seems to be a very popular one that I'm seeing now that it's leaking onto my timeline. Obviously, I was very happy with the Scotty pick. I'm very excited about that. We saw Tracy start to really get utilized a little bit later on, truly featuring him kind of later on in the season. He 839 yards, 192 attempts. Scotty, the concern, I think, from everyone from kind of reading things, people are concerned that he's going to take all the goal line carries. Tracy's this very loud faller. I don't know if I'm 100% sold that it hurts Tracy as much as the public is saying. Where are you at with Tracy?
Yeah, I think you saw the Giants. They're going to have a different identity this year. I think they moved more towards a 12 personnel. They grab some linemen. They're going to look to run the ball. Not, if you can't pass protect, you shouldn't try to go out and pass the ball 50 times a game. Yeah. They got Scatterboot. Now they got Tracy. And Tracy's issue last year was fumbling. And so specifically around the goal line, the Giants had 2 or 3 games that they probably would have won if it wasn't for those turnovers, those mistakes. And so Tracy's also, he's a little smaller. He was a converted receiver. He's already 25 years old on his second year,
Correct.
So it's a nice combination, and it takes some pressure off the quarterbacks. You think about if Jackson Dart were to start week 8, he doesn't have as much pressure because he's got not only the one running back, but 2. And I think the biggest loser is Devin Singletary. He's just basically dust. I think Tyrone Tracy's still going to be good. Both players do get involved in the passing game, so it does hurt Tracy, but he's not dust. I think he's still going to be involved.
Yeah. Is there a player that really stands out to you as far as rising or falling from the draft? The first one that you're to your mind?
From the any team?
Any team, if it's a vet, like who really like fell or rose in this?
Well, I think one interesting one to watch right now is DeAndre Swift and the Chicago Bears, because everybody was thinking that if they don't get Ashton Genty, they're going to go get Amarian Hampton. If they don't get Amarian Hampton, they're going to get Travion Henderson. They're going to get somebody. Like Swift is cooked. And then they wait till the 7th round and get Kyle Managa. I'm not going to say it. Manange. He's a good running back, but he doesn't necessarily threaten Swift. I will say to watch that situation because Nick Chubb, you have Nick Chubb, you have J.K. Dobbins, Cam Akers. Those guys are kind of lurking to have that secondary role there. But I think he's an interesting one because everyone kind of left Swift for dead. And I mean, it's going to be an interesting, fun offense there with all those pass catchers. He should be able to do pretty well in that Ben Johnson offense.
Yeah, I noticed too. I just kind of creeped back into like the best ball startup streets again because I've been out of it for a little bit, and I definitely can see that Swift is going much lower than he probably should for being right now the RB1 on that team, unless there's something crazy changes. They obviously feel comfortable right now with him. I think another running back for me that basically remained untouched was Chase Brown. He finished RB10 last year in fantasy. His role on the team is very clear, and he is the RB1 for that team. He rushed for just under 1,000 yards last season. They didn't add him back until I think the 6th round it was. They added a little O-line, and the Bengals are always going to just be one of those teams that are plagued a little bit by the O-line. They added a little bit in the draft, but I think Chase Brown, for where you can still get him, there's a lot of value there in Chase Brown.
Yeah, that was definitely on my list. I like Taj Brooks, but again, when you get someone that's drafted round 6 versus round 3, there's different expectations. And he's a little bit of a compliment to Chase Brown. He's a bigger back. He offers some of that, what they have been getting out of Samaje Perine and those kind of backs. So yeah, Chase Brown, big winner. And he's on an explosive offense with a lot of opportunity to score touchdowns.
Love it. Yeah. Another riser or faller that you like are all in on or all out of, I guess, this year.
As far as all out, I think when you look at the Dallas Cowboys and you look at Dak Prescott, they could have done more and they didn't. And so, this I know is Giants homerism, but the Cowboys, they were very they have not been flashy for a while, but there was a lot of rumors they were going to add another pass catcher. Their offense, They got CeeDee Lamb, and then they don't really have much for the running back position. Javonte Williams is kind of a winner, where you could have seen them to make a big move up and trade for Travis Hunter or go get a Ted McMillan. Or there's so many receivers, so many running backs, and the Cowboys were like, we're going to get Jaden Blue. And Blue is a weapon, but, he's a very tiny weapon. And so you have Deuce Vaughn already. You have 2 really small backs. I just think Dak Prescott, someone he's coming off of an injury. He's kind of down. And then you have that, you have just not a lot added. I just think that he's someone I'm fading.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I think, too, with Blue, and you're seeing this kind of seems to be a public darling, Blue is more drafted, he's more of a pace changer. He's not going to be in every, he's not your future 3 down back that you guys are continuing to neglect. I guess I don't fully understand what Dallas's plan is. When they sit down and they look at their depth chart, you have Dak coming off the injury, you have CeeDee Lamb, and I'm sorry, if CeeDee were to get hurt, you feel comfortable that you guys will be totally fine with Mingo and Tolbert.
Exactly. And that's what they've been doing the last couple of years. And that's exactly why they've struggled the last couple of years. They're not putting a backstop in. I mean, Brandon Cooks was their best option, and he did pretty well for touchdowns, but didn't really produce on a weekly basis. So yeah, like I said, I know it sounds like, Giants fans hating on Cowboys, but I think the Cowboys fans would agree that this was a little bit of a boring draft, and it's been like that. And then talk about Jonathan Mingo. I mean, you traded a 4th-round pick. I mean, there's so many receivers you could have got that are better than Jonathan Mingo. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I wonder if, like, in some way Ferguson, like, is somewhat of a winner a little bit. Because, like,
yeah,
I guess I don't understand, like, what their plan is. And that's fine. Maybe that's Jerry Jones just losing his mind a little bit. And Javonte Williams, to be completely honest, like, I was never a big Javonte Williams, like, girl.
He hasn't run for 90 yards in a game since his injury. It's like 3 years ago.
Yeah, it doesn't translate to the NFL the way that I thought it would. If Williams falls, am I going to take him just straight up out of the fact that, like, he's going to get some type of volume because of how shitty their depth chart is? Probably, but yeah, I don't know, Dallas. I don't know what your plan is here.
Yeah, David says Amari Cooper back to Dallas. It's possible.
Yeah, I don't know. Looking at some of the other guys I had written down, Jalen McMillan, I think, is dead on arrival. Like, toast. That's like some guy that I can say right now, I will continue to bet longest reception on him. He's going to be a fun guy to bet receptions on. But, like, we saw the great end to the fantasy season. Godwin's back. They add another receiver in the first round, which, with Egbuka, you're going to probably be frustrated as a dynasty owner for a little bit with him, but it will probably pay off. He's a fun piece for their offense, but he's very much just a football piece. And I don't think, like, he's going to be someone I'm good. Like, it's just not going to be something I'm partaking in.
The quarterbacks were kind of low-hanging fruit, but there's so many quarterback winners in this draft. Baker Mayfield is a big winner. Drake May's a big winner. And Jalen McMillan, I mean, he just, like, that really crushed his – I mean, it's huge draft. It's big draft capital. And Egbuka is a good player. He does profile as the slot and more than just the outside guy, but so is McMillan. And so, you have Chris Godwin and Mike Evans are going to dominate targets. Then you got Bucky Irving and Rashad White out of the backfield. It's going to be hard for him to get a consistent opportunities unless something changes. And so, that's a great call.
Yeah, I just can't do it. I think other than that, the only other two players as far as, like, rising and falling, I think Garrett Wilson, I feel very good about him. Like, I feel that he's going to demand a lot of targets this year. Looking for Fields to, obviously Garrett is the alpha of that team now as far as where we're going to see targets go. I think that is a little bit obvious. And then other than that, I think Xavier Legette unfortunately took a little bit of a hit, not a little bit, a big hit from Tech going there. I think Coker is probably the beneficiary to all of that. I'm still taking Legette as far as, like, best ball goes, because it's only where he is being drafted that I feel comfortable taking him because he's falling immensely. But those are the only two that I know. There's tons of guys. We could talk about this all day. But to me, those two also really stood out.
Two more quick names. Najee Harris. I mean, the Najee Harris volume, that was like a 1 month. It was awesome. And now it's gone. And then Brenton Strange. So Najee faller, Brenton Strange riser. There was a lot of talk that Tyler Warren or Colson Levelin or a lot of these guys could go there. Travis Hunter went there, which obviously is going to get some targets. Mm-hmm. But Brenton Strange ended the year on a really strong note. They spoke really highly at the press conferences, and we thought, okay, is this just, poker face before the draft? And they draft Tyler Warren, and Brenton Strange is off into the sunset. Strange is, he's second-round pick. Mm-hmm. And so he's someone that, I put a dynasty thread out there today. And he's probably a top 15 dynasty asset. Would you take Brenton Strange or Kyle Pitts right now in dynasty?
Honestly, Brenton Strange. And I think too, we've seen this, like, we know that historically tight ends take some time to come into their own. And unfortunately for me, it's just like, one, I'm not doing the Kyle Pitts thing anymore. It's too much. It's not. If it didn't work with Kirk Cousins, I struggle to see how it's going to hurt. Kirk Cousins loves his tight ends. It did not go as planned. Very disappointing with Kyle Pitts. But yeah, Brenton Strange, they clearly love him.
Yeah.
It's easy. Yeah. And so I want to talk about a few of these rookies a little bit more. Two rookies on the Pats that I am finding myself drafting quite a bit of. is Kyle Williams and Henderson. I didn't really like It's not that I didn't like Henderson. It felt I needed to know the landing spots. Like I was going to be in on Henderson depending on where he kind of went. I do like the landing spot. I think the Ramondre Stevenson has had fumbling problems. We've seen them, bench them. I think they benched him at some point last year due to it. And Henderson is also a very good pass blocker. I would love to see him almost transition to the RB1 before. I don't think before mid-season is that far-fetched for this team even.
No, I wouldn't even be shocked if day one he was the guy. I mean,
yeah.
This regime did not pay Ramondre Stevenson, did not draft Ramondre Stevenson. They got no loyalties to him. And so this team did draft TreVeyon Henderson. And for all the things that you just said, TreVeyon Henderson, and he's not a big dude. He's like 205 pounds.
Yeah.
But like Maurice Jones-Drew said, he takes football out of people when he hits them.
Yes.
And Maurice Jones-Drew, we saw him take out Sean Merriman. I mean, that's just classic
right.
But Henderson's got highlights like that. And so but his ability as a pass catcher, you look at a team that doesn't necessarily have a true number one. And so he could have and we were in a dynasty league together. I took Henderson today. Yeah. And so it's my guy. I like Henderson. I just think he's just got a lot of juice to create after the catch. And then his ability to pass catch, not pass catch, but pass protect.
Yeah.
I mean, why would coaches not want him on the field?
It's a little painful. And I know I kind of alluded to it a little when doing some preseason show. I really like what the Patriots are doing. I like how young their offense is. I like the Williams pick. I think for him too, when you look at from a fantasy perspective, like what is he competing with as far? Like he doesn't have to do much to become Drake May's favorite toy and target on that team.
My only fear is the George Kittle, like he's too good at blocking. And so like when Drake Mays needs some protection because the offensive line is not good, that's my only concern.
You can see that. That's true.
But I'm picking him up everywhere I can because like I said, he's one of those coaches were pounding the table to get him. I know it's the Pats and the Pats are a little scary always, but Josh McDaniels, he's definitely targeted backs in the past. And we've seen a lot of pass catching backs, Shane Vereen, James White, a lot of pass-catching backs be good for fantasy football in that offense and not get 200 carries. They got 150 carries, but they got 100 targets, and I think that's what you see. And I love Henderson.
Yeah, what's a rookie that you are all over this so far?
Definitely Henderson, but I like Brashul Tuden. I know that he was kind of the combine darling, and there's all that stuff, but like when you look at the Chase Browns of the world and say, well, what happened? Well, you look at guys that didn't do well the year before or like maybe backups that got thrown into starting roles and then like a rookie came in and took their job. I wouldn't be surprised if Tuten did that. Again, it's a new regime. You look at someone that fits this offense. He's explosive. He can catch the ball. The only concern with him is fumbles. They got 4 fumbles last year. That is a concern. But ETN was bad last year. Like he was like less than 5 fantasy points a game. Tank Bigsby wasn't much better. And so this offense wants some firepower. And we've seen James Gladstone comes from the Rams. We've seen them turn 5th and 6th round running backs into starters, no problem. Again, new regime. They drafted him. They have no loyalties to ETN, who's a free agent next year. I think that I have Tuten over ETN and Dynasty.
Yeah, and I think also they've just been very obvious that ETN is not a priority to them by any means. I don't think.
I was shocked when he traded.
Yeah. I think the only I'll name another running back. And maybe this is coming from the fact that I am not a big Warren person. I never was. I was always more of a Najee girl as far as that running back room went. I think Caleb Johnson, as much as he was another one that I wasn't super in love with, Johnson is such a physical back and could not have landed somewhere that makes he will just seamlessly fit into this offense in a way that just makes sense. You have Arthur Smith, who ran the ball 533 times, whatever it was last year, 4th most in the NFL. I like the seamless just transition from Najee out, Caleb in, and I think they will make it work.
Yeah, again, you look at draft capital, that tells you what the team thinks about him. It's a really good class, so you could get good backs later, and they still prioritize getting him. Warren had one rushing touchdown last year. He didn't have a explosive run. I think he had 2 explosive runs over 20 yards. He didn't do it last year, and Najee didn't either. They needed some juice to this offense, and he does bring that. He brings size and speed. I think it's a really good fit, and I like that call. He's my RB5, and it's just a really good class.
In what order are you like? So do like top 5. What are your top 5 dynasty running backs then for the rookies? Actually,
so I have pretty chalk, I guess. It's Genty, Hampton, and then Henderson. I have Judkins at 4, Caleb at 5, and then I know there's love out there for RJ Harvey, and that's kind of the Caleb Johnson versus RJ Harvey is that's the debate. I don't know where you're on that, but RJ Harvey's he's a grower. I think he's 112 on the ADP. Like, he's rising.
Yeah, he's starting to give that public darling. Maybe Steph is going to stay away from pretty soon.
I really like everybody gets this like the sheep. You know, they make him too much. You know, it's like I like the guy at 205, 206, but 112. Now you're like expectations are really high. And so, he's a converted quarterback. He doesn't have a whole lot of time as a running back. He's very Tyrone Tracy-esque. I think he's 24, be 25 at the end of the season. Maybe not huge for Dynasty, but I think, but he is just an explosive player. I mean,
he is. He's so fun to watch. And I think I just struggle too. I know sometimes people, and I've talked about this in the past, where it's like, they're putting too much weight in what Sean Payton has done historically into how they evaluate and grade the players that are on the Broncos. And I don't know why. He's one of those players one of those coaches that for some reason, like, no one can remove his history at all, which is fine. I know that there's a Sean Payton way, but sometimes like we're taking it a little bit too early.
You see the comps and you see the ceiling comp and you just say, that's it. I'm getting Alvin Kamara. I'm getting Reggie Bush. And it's like, what if you're getting, Darren Sproles or, some of these other guys that were good, but not like, they weren't that, that guy.
Yeah.
I will say the Broncos, they need to add another back because it's just Audric Estime and RJ Harvey. So that's another thing that does go in his favor. But I could see Dobbins or Chubb or, one of these other guys going there.
Yeah. What's another rookie that you have had your eyes on?
You said him earlier, Kyle Williams. When you look, there's not many receivers or just pass catchers in general that are going to be top 2 or 3 on their team in targets. And so I got him at 6. I think in the end of the second, early third is where you can grab him in most of your rookie drafts. And he just smooth release. He's got the ability to play outside. He can move around the scheme. There's a reason that he started growing, started really gaining some steam during the process. Coaches talk. And so the insiders like Daniel Jeremiah are like, okay, coaches like this guy.
Yeah.
And so Kyle Williams was someone that went from like a 5th rounder to a 2nd or 3rd rounder over the last 30 days of the draft.
Yeah, and there's something to pay attention to there for sure. How about these rookie tight ends? Before I start wrapping up, I have a couple of questions for you after this. But Mason Taylor, where he is going, at least in best ball, is starting to pique my interest just a little bit for the situation that he's in. But when it comes to Loveland, Cole Kmet, what are we doing with Cole Kmet? Is Cole Kmet kind of also dead on arrival here? Because we know how Ben Johnson falls in love. Is just to be like 12 personnel. And then where are you at with Warren to the Colts? Because I don't think that's the spot that everyone wanted to see Warren at.
Yeah, I think, with Loveland, I think it's a great spot, but you have so many mouths to feed. So I don't know if you're going to necessarily see that, day one. But you do have a lot, we'll see as far as who's going to score touchdowns there. And so maybe he's like Sam Laporta's first year, scored a lot of touchdowns, didn't necessarily have a whole lot of yardage, but he scored a lot of touchdowns. If that's the case, it's hard to bank on that. So I don't necessarily love Loveland year one. Warren, I think, you look at the offense, not going to be a pass-heavy offense, whether it's Danny Dimes or Richardson. And so similar to the Jets, I mean, you're not going to have a pass-heavy offense with Justin Fields as your quarterback as well. But I do think you look at the Mason Taylor situation and say, who's the number 2 target? Is it Breece Hall?
Right.
I think it's Mason Taylor. And so, and you look, Justin Fields is pretty decent with Cole Kmet. And, you get the comparison there. And Taylor is a good player. He would be the tight end 1 in most classes. He just in a really freaking good class. And this guy is, everyone talked about him as being they said, the kind of, you get your board wiped off. They took all your guys, you got sniped, and you have, who do I pick in the late first round? Mason Taylor, because he's going to be he's just a double. Like, he's going to be a good player for a long time and lands in a good spot where he could be, number 2 in targets.
Yeah, I think I'm going to see myself drafting him quite a bit. Before I get out of here, I started doing basketball again. Today was my first day. I entered a few of them. And there's a few things that were a little odd. And I know this is a weird time. Not everyone's in. It's post-draft. ADP is all over the place. A few things stood out to me. One of them was Drake London seems to be falling. And I'm not fully understanding that, I guess. Like, he was wide receiver 5 last year. Is it because of Penix, which is fine? Whatever. But then if Penix isn't good, then you have Kirk back. So I guess I don't understand why. Like, I'm watching people skipping over him. Like, he's falling in every single draft I did today.
Yeah, there's no real. It's Penix, and there's no other reason. I mean, they didn't add a prolific pass catcher. I mean, maybe there's still people out there that think Pitts is going to be a thing, but like, people just get bored with some of these guys, and they like the flashy new toys, so they want to move them up the board. But like, these bigger guys aren't necessarily as flashy. But like, give me Nico Collins, give me Mike Evans, give me Drake London all freaking day. They're going to score a ton of touchdowns, and they get 15, 16 yards a catch.
Right. I'm not worried about what the team does. I'm worried about what he does fantasy production-wise, and Drake London is going to get volume there no matter what.
There's no reason you shouldn't be taking him where he's at. Yeah,
literally skipping over him. I took him in all 3 of the drafts because he was just falling to me. Okay, the other guy, this is the one, and I kind of get it, kind of don't get it. So Jennings is going over rookie 2 to the chest, rookie Pearsall. I would rather just wait and take rookie a little bit later. Like, I don't know that's like, to me, taking Jennings as high as he is going when you could just wait like a round or 2 or take rookie just doesn't make sense to me, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I know Jennings has been around for a while and he's not really been relevant, but Jennings showed off last year. And when Debo was out, he was the number 1. Then Debo came back. Ayuk got hurt. He was the number 1. And I mean, he's going to take that Debo role, that move receiver, move all around the offense. And he's another guy that, like, he blocks so well that he doesn't leave the field. But we just saw him. He was out there, and he was like just a PPR machine. He was getting like 10, 12 targets a game. That's true. I like him. Pearsall I like, but there's just not enough of a discount because there is that swath of people that, like, they're making it close enough that I'm going to take the guy that I like better. If it was 5 or 6 rounds, maybe, but it seems like they're pretty close. I haven't done a basketball draft in a couple weeks, but seems close.
I think I took him off. Maybe I'm just not. I don't feel great about the 49ers offense. And
Jennings is not a sexy pick. I mean,
it's not sexy. It's not like, I almost, for the first time in a while, would rather have George Kittle, which is surprising because it's not. But to me, he's almost the one that stands out amongst these guys. And then the last one, we started with Giants. We'll end with Giants. In startups, in whatever it is, Neighbors continues to, I feel like, go a little bit further than he maybe should. I'm biased. I'm a Giants fan. You're a Giants fan. He was wide receiver 6 and he missed 2 games. And he was playing with Groupon discount quarterbacks. Like, this is like not, I'll let you take it. Where do you think in a startup Malik Neighbors should go as far as Dynasty is?
If it's a 1 quarterback league, it should be a top 6 pick. Again, it's the age. I mean, he's just 21, 22 years old.
Right.
He's shown that he's at the early breakout, which is always good. And you saw him break out in a bad situation. And so that's just like you can't. And the Giants at least did one thing right last year, and they were feeding Neighbors. I think the problem was they were feeding him at the end of the game in garbage time. For fantasy football, it's great. But Malik Neighbors told us, he said, I mean, I want to help us win. I can't really do that if I don't get targets at the beginning of the game.
Not wrong.
But at the end of the day, I mean, the fantasy production was there. And like you said, it was a group of coupons. It was bad.
Yes.
Drew Lock was our best quarterback last year, and that says a lot. But I think Neighbors is good. I struggle with Giants because they already make my Sunday terrible. So then, like, to have them damage my fantasy football team, I don't draft too many. But Neighbors he's deserving of it.
Neighbors is impossible not to. I don't like betting on the Giants, but he's someone that, like, I will continuously bet. Vegas is going to continue to disrespect him. We're going to continue to make some money on him. I will let you get out of here. Give me one rookie sleeper for your Dynasty rookie drafts. Is there some guy in that, like, I don't know, everyone's rounds are different, in the 4th round, 3rd round, whatever it is?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Dylan Sampson.
Love it.
I wouldn't say he's a huge sleeper, but because of where he got drafted and behind Quinshon Judkins, but you look at what they did at Ohio State. Judkins is not a pass catcher. That was Henderson's role. Sampson can crush in that role. Plus, he's a good running back. He had 22 touchdowns last year in the SEC. I wish he would have got a spot like the Jaguars or something, but Sampson's a guy I think you're going to be able to get for like the last pick of your draft. And he could be a guy that catches a bunch of balls and gets some touchdowns.
Yeah, I even seeing where he's going in best ball, definitely someone I could see him climbing up a little bit too. Now is the time to kind of get in on that. Let people know where they can find you, what you're working on. I appreciate you coming on. We'll have to get you on closer to the season once we get the schedule. We can really work through some of this.
For sure. At DynastyDorks, it's one word, and get me on X or TikTok. I do rankings and writing for SGPN, and I do all the social media stuff for Dynasty Trade Calculator.
Absolutely. Love it. Thanks for coming on. Subscribe, like, rate, review if you're listening on podcast form. And I will see you guys on Wednesday.